model has won twice and did so in the hands of two different teams. These teams are very evenly matched. As Dorsey pointed out, we will start on the backstretch. Everybody gets down to the tricky S's over a brow at top speed.
Jade Buford on the pole for the third time this year, leads them away in that Aston Martin number 55. James Guay, his teammate, tries to slot to the inside.
Oh, look at that outside the Camaro. You can run outside and you can stay side by side until you get up. They knew it. On top of this hill, you have to get it worked out.
What a start for Nick Longy, all the way up to 5th from 9th on the grid. Brilliant start for the run bum machine.
Watch that car, no doubt about that. That Porsche is very, very potent. It's probably the most consistent team here.
Elevation changes are the story of Mid-Ohio. Here comes the ST category, right side of your screen. Lots of blind brows and sweeping turns.
Jesse Combs, the pole sitter, puts that BMW, tucks it to the inside. Robert Thorne, after a brilliant qualifying run, gets really wide there through turn 4. Keeps it together as the field stacks up.
Hard to believe nobody got pushed off into the gravel. That's unprecedented in this class here.
There's the gunslinger down to the inside, going for back-to-back wins.
Definitely helps you a lot. Look at Longy behind the BMW. He'll pop to the inside right here.
Yeah, Hugh Plum. Matt Plum's brother is qualifying the B Positive Foundation car. He takes that line away from Longy. We're on board with Hugh Plum now as he goes into turn 5.
And you can go side by side up through 5, but I tell you what, it's not to your advantage to do so. And I think both those guys wisely knew that.
Really great run by James Guay, who's been drafted in to replace John Ferrano here for this race, maybe more, teaming up with David Empringham. So first time in an Aston this weekend, he put the car on 3rd on the grid, and he runs a solid 3rd right now.
Hats off to Jade Buford in the Aston. That's his 3rd pole in his career. He's really showing well in that car.
Really found a good home, and spoke to his teammate Scott Maxwell, and he said he's doing a great job. He's listening and interpreting the information and making it pay.
As the battles have cooled just a bit, let's give you our Continental race analysis. 2-hour, 30-minute timed event. We've talked about the racetrack. And as Dorsey mentioned, a big field.
They're playing well together so far, but they haven't intermingled either. All the classes still split. Further into the race, when they're all running together, it won't be quite as tidy.
Yeah, it's crazy enough when they're just running within their own class. Once they start to get some traffic with the ST and GS mix, sometimes it is like oil and water. Things settling down. It's going to be Al Carter finishing in the 45 car, but here comes Oschenbach. Has a run on Jade Buford. Aston should be stronger in the brake zone.
Ironic how all these guys have trained themselves that if they're going to go around, they pop to the outside. They know they're not going to get the inside line.
Hasn't been the season that Oschenbach and Curran are looking for in that black Camaro. Of course, won that major race last year when we debuted at Indianapolis. That was really a great one to get there. First win with this car. Beautifully prepared.
5-car train developing early at Diamond Sellers Classic. The race is a challenge. The weekend is a classic. And we are back under green. Jade Buford, who started from pole in the GS class, leads Lawson Oschenbach. And away we go again.
Just past the 30-minute mark, so we did see some ST cars jump into pit lane, where the drivers will suffice that 30-minute minimum to get driver points here today. And I believe that one of the 4-line cars was in as well. I think Brian Sellers is now behind the wheel of the 46. So a lot of strategy going on here. Are so deep, Dorsey, that if you do have a problem, you're out of the points paying positions. I mean, even though the points run pretty deep too, these are massive fields. So not like a lot of other series where you're still going to pick up a handful, so you can't afford these blips. We talked about it early in the show, Bob. No one putting together that consistent run yet to really separate themselves from the pack in the points.
That's right, as Brian Till pointed out, only 2 teams able to score in the top 10 at more than one race. Got another stranded car out there.
That's Stephen McAleer we've been watching. He's been doing such good driving in the number 5 Mazda, and he's pulled off. It looks like he's no damage, like something broke.
So we've had heavy attrition in the first 40 minutes and change in this race. Round 4 to the Diamond Seller Classic. Round 4 of the Continental Tire Sports Car Challenge for 2013. The leaders are catching traffic. Jade Buford, who started from pole in GS, and Lawson Oschenbach in that black Camaro, going at it with slower cars all around them.
Yeah, Oschenbach got a great run off the carousel there, Dorsey, and look to try and take the lead down the front straightaway. We just catch that as we saw the cars in action once again, but he's putting the pressure all over Jade Buford. But so far, Jade Buford has not put a foot wrong and is doing an awesome job leading this field.
It's been pretty interesting. He's trying to trapping in traffic. You know, the Aston's got better brakes. You see it down here. This is the primary place that you like to pass at Mid-Ohio, down the bottom of the straightaway. But if you don't have the brakes, you can't get it done.
Hugh Plum hanging in there. The B Positive Foundation BMW in third. Longy's dropped back a little bit in traffic. On board with the 45 here. Just want to give a shout out to Joe McDonough's wife, who's having some illness at the moment that they're trying to deal with. So our thoughts are with the family right now, but certainly the car is running strong and the podium would put a smile on everyone's faces.
Hugh Plum getting to watch this battle up front. That's a good distance to watch it from, because you know what, ultimately Aschenbach will probably have to loosen Jade up a little bit to get by, because the braking situation is such that the Aston has the advantage.
Well, talking to the Multimatic team, they said this track is not really good for us. It's just all about the gear ratios. The gear ratios are spec. It's not like a proper race car where you can change the individual gear ratio to suit the corners. And they said off of that turn that they just came through, the carousel, and also leading on the back straightaway, he said we're fine if we're by ourselves, talking to Scott Maxwell, but if we get in traffic, we really lug off of there. So
let's get down to the pit lane and Justin Bell.
Scott Maxwell, you've been waiting here, watching your car in the hands of Jade do very well out there, basically holding the lead the whole time. But it does look like he's really having to work very hard to stay out front. Does that put a lot of pressure on the car? Is he having to run at a pace you're comfortable with?
No, I think Jade's running at a good pace. We're very strong out the back. Our problem is going to be after the pit stops. We lack power coming off the corners. And there's only a couple of passing zones here, and unfortunately that's our weak spots. We're strong out the back. So Jade's doing a great job. Our problem is going to be passing, not getting past.
So just a little bit of insight. Do we know what happened to the sister car in the accident just before the break?
All I heard is a brake issue, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right, well, good luck. Get yourself ready. I'm sure you'll be getting in soon. Brian?
Now from Aston Martin to Camaro, Eric Curran, Lawson out there doing a good job attacking the back of that Aston right now, but how much is he willing to risk to get in front? We still have a driver change and a long way to go in this race. Is he content to cruise, or does he want to get to the front right now?
No, I think the best thing he can do is just do what he's doing, just kind of stay behind that Aston Martin. He's putting the pressure on him. Jay's doing a good job in front of him, though, not making any mistakes, but our Team Chevy CKS Camaro is doing well today, so I don't think the battle's really begun. We got a couple hours to go here. It's going to be a tough fight later on, but he's doing a great job putting the pressure on him. I don't think we want to tangle up when they push the car too hard. Leave me some car, leave me some brakes, and I'll see what I can do later part of the race.
Seems to be a familiar theme. The skirmish is going on now. The war is coming later.
yeah, and remember, guys, this year we've got a new race steward, and they've been a little bit stricter with their enforcement of any contact. So I think that's in all of the drivers' heads. So Lawson's obviously a very clean driver anyway, and he's certainly conscious of the fact we've got a car capable of winning. I don't want to throw it away by a contact penalty.
You can see that as they work through this traffic, everybody giving everyone else enough and a little bit more room than necessary in some cases not to make contact.
And we saw them through the carousel a lap ago, and they could do nothing behind the slower ST BMW 128i of Joe Koenig. And they were just stuck there behind him. Nobody was doing anything wrong. It's just so hard to get around people on this racetrack. They had to wait until they got back on the start-finish straightaway.
Aschenbach got held up that time. He tried to go around outside the 33. It wasn't going to happen. He gave up, tried to move the other way.
And Owen Trinkler, they've had to push that car back.
Then our leader, Jade Buford, finally brings the Multimatic Aston to pit lane. I think strategy may cost them some positions. You can see the 0-0. That is not the car they are battling on the racetrack. That's the sister machine. But you do see the 45 leapfrog around them.
And we saw a doozy today. Here's a look at the results in the Grand Sport class. We have our first two-time winners of the year.
Just an awesome battle. Great to see Brian Sellers bounce back there with the strategy. He almost got on the podium. Just great racing here today.
Well, let's check the championship standings beginning in GS.
Well, the Rum Bum boys stretch it out a little bit. It was a narrower lead coming in, and with a win, you're only going to extend that lead. But Bell and Edwards certainly keep the pressure on with another podium finish.